How to be a friendly and responsible tourist in Europe. Introduction. Europe is one of the world's most beautiful travel destinations. From the romantic canals of Venice to the historic streets of Prague, from the sunny beaches of Barcelona to the charming cafes of Paris, Europe offers incredible experiences for travelers. However, in recent years, some European cities have started to feel overwhelmed by the number of visitors they receive. This situation is called over-tourism. Over-tourism happens when too many tourists visit a place at the same time. This can create several problems. Local people may find it difficult to afford housing because property prices increase. Popular attractions become so crowded that locals cannot enjoy their own city. The environment may suffer from too much waste and pollution. Traditional neighborhoods might lose their authentic character when they become too focused on tourism. But here's the good news. These problems can be avoided when travelers are respectful and mindful. As responsible tourists, we can help preserve the beauty and culture of European destinations while still enjoying amazing travel experiences. This guide will teach you practical ways to become the kind of tourist that locals will appreciate and welcome. Understanding the challenge. Why some cities feel overwhelmed. Before we learn how to be better tourists, it's important to understand what causes over-tourism. This knowledge will help you make more thoughtful travel decisions. The housing problem. In many popular European cities, the rise of short-term rental platforms like Airbnb has changed the housing market dramatically. Property owners often find it more profitable to rent their apartments to tourists for a few days rather than to local residents for months or years. This reduces the number of homes available for locals, making rent prices increase significantly. For example, in Barcelona, many neighborhoods that used to be affordable for local families have become too expensive. Young people and families have had to move to areas far from the city center, making their daily commute longer and more difficult. Crowded attractions and public spaces. Popular tourist sites can become so crowded that they lose their charm and become uncomfortable for everyone. Imagine trying to enjoy a peaceful moment in a beautiful square, but it's so full of tour groups that you can barely move. Local residents who used to enjoy these spaces for relaxation or socializing may avoid them entirely. Environmental impact. Large numbers of tourists can put stress on a city's infrastructure and environment. More visitors mean more waste, more water usage, and more transportation needs. Some historical sites and natural areas can be damaged by too many people walking through them every day. Cultural changes. When neighborhoods become very touristy, local businesses may be replaced by souvenir shops and restaurants that serve international food instead of local cuisine. This can make neighborhoods lose their authentic character and cultural identity. However, tourism also brings many benefits to European cities. It creates jobs, supports local businesses, and helps preserve historical sites through entrance fees and donations. The key is finding a balance between enjoying these wonderful destinations and respecting the people who call them home. Planning your trip. Making responsible choices from the start. Being a responsible tourist begins before you even pack your bags. The choices you make while planning your trip can have a significant positive impact on the places you visit. Choose your travel dates wisely. One of the most important decisions you can make is when to travel. Consider visiting European cities during shoulder seasons instead of peak summer months. Shoulder seasons are the periods just before and after the busiest tourist times, typically late spring and early fall. For example, visiting Paris in late September or early October means you'll experience pleasant weather, smaller crowds, and lower prices. You'll also have more opportunities to interact with locals and experience the city as residents do. Here are some benefits of shoulder season travel. Hotels and restaurants are less crowded. Prices for accommodation and activities are often lower. Weather is usually still pleasant. You can take better photos without crowds of people. Local people have more time to chat and help you. Research less popular destinations. Instead of only visiting the most famous cities, consider exploring smaller towns and less touristy regions. Europe has thousands of beautiful places that don't appear on every travel blog but offer incredible experiences. For instance, instead of only visiting Rome, you might also explore smaller Italian cities like Matera or Lecce. Instead of just seeing Amsterdam, consider visiting charming Dutch cities like Haarlem or Utrecht. These destinations often provide more authentic cultural experiences and are usually much more affordable. Plan a longer stay in fewer places. Rather than trying to visit 10 countries in 2 weeks, consider spending more time in fewer destinations. This approach, sometimes called slow travel, has several advantages. You'll reduce your carbon footprint by taking fewer flights and train trips. You'll have time to really understand and appreciate the local culture. You'll be less stressed and more relaxed during your vacation. You'll save money on transportation costs. For example, instead of spending 2 days each in Paris, London, Berlin, Barcelona, and Rome, you might spend a full week in Paris and 3 days in a smaller French city like Lyon or Strasbourg. Choosing responsible accommodation. Where you stay during your European adventure can make a big difference in your impact on local communities. Here are some guidelines for choosing accommodation that supports rather than harms local residents. Understanding different types of accommodation. Hotels and guesthouses. Traditional hotels and small guesthouses are usually good choices for responsible tourists. They create permanent jobs for local people and pay business taxes that support the community. Small, family-run guesthouses are particularly beneficial because they keep tourism money within local families. Hostels are excellent options for budget travelers and often have a smaller environmental impact than large hotels. Many hostels also organize cultural activities that help travelers learn about local customs and meet local people. Responsible short-term rentals. If you choose to use platforms like Airbnb, try to select properties that are responsibly managed. Look for accommodations where the host lives in the same building or neighborhood. Avoid large apartment complexes that have been converted entirely into tourist rentals. Questions to ask before booking. When choosing accommodation, consider asking these questions. Is this a property where local people also live? Does the host live nearby or in the same building? Are there any house rules I should know about to be respectful to neighbors? Can you recommend local businesses I should support during my stay? Being a good guest. Once you've chosen your accommodation, here are ways to be respectful. Keep noise levels down, especially in the evening and early morning. Remember that local people live in the surrounding apartments and need to sleep, work, and go to school. Follow all house rules carefully. If your host asks you to remove shoes, take out trash on certain days, or avoid using the washing machine after 10 p.m., please respect these requests. Communicate politely with your host. Here are some useful phrases. Thank you for the welcome. Is there anything specific I should know about the neighborhood? I want to be respectful to your neighbors. What time should I keep quiet in the evening? Could you recommend some local restaurants that aren't too touristy? Supporting local businesses and communities. One of the best ways to be a responsible tourist is to make sure your money supports local people and businesses. This helps ensure that tourism benefits the communities you visit. Choosing where to eat. Seek out local restaurants instead of international chains. Look for places where you hear local people speaking their native language, where the menu is written in the local language, and where the food represents regional specialties. Ask for recommendations from local people. You can say, "I'm looking for a restaurant where local people like to eat. Do you have any suggestions?" Where do you go when you want to celebrate a special occasion? What's a typical dish from this region that I should try? Try local markets and food halls. These are excellent places to taste authentic food, meet local vendors, and learn about regional ingredients. Markets also tend to be more affordable than tourist restaurants. Shopping responsibly. Buy souvenirs from local artisans instead of mass-produced items made in other countries. Look for shops that sell handmade crafts, local products, or items made by regional artists. Visit local bookstores, especially those that sell books in English about local history and culture. This is a wonderful way to learn more about your destination while supporting small businesses. Shop at local grocery stores and pharmacies for items you need during your trip. This supports everyday businesses that serve the local community year-round. Using local services. Choose local tour guides over large international tour companies when possible. Local guides often provide more authentic experiences and insider knowledge that you won't find in guidebooks. Use local transportation services. Take public buses and trains instead of tourist shuttles. If you need a taxi, use local taxi companies or apps that employ local drivers. When interacting with local service providers, try using these polite expressions. "Thank you for your help. I really appreciate it. Your English is very good. I'm sorry I don't speak more local language. This has been a wonderful experience. I'll definitely recommend your business to other travelers." Sustainable travel practices. Sustainable travel means making choices that protect the environment and preserve destinations for future generations. Here are practical ways to reduce your environmental impact while exploring Europe. Transportation choices. Use public transportation whenever possible. European cities generally have excellent public transport systems including buses, trams, subways, and trains. Public transport is usually faster than taxis in city centers, much more affordable and better for the environment. Walk and cycle when distances are manageable. Many European cities are very walkable and have bike-sharing programs. Walking is also the best way to discover hidden neighborhoods and local spots that you might miss from a bus or car. Choose trains over flights for travel between European cities when possible. Train travel produces much less carbon pollution than flying and often takes you directly to city centers. Plus, train journeys offer beautiful scenery and opportunities to meet fellow travelers. Reducing waste. Bring a reusable water bottle. Most European cities have safe tap water and many public fountains where you can refill your bottle. This saves money and reduces plastic waste. Pack a small shopping bag for purchases. Many European countries charge for plastic bags or have banned them entirely. Having your own bag shows environmental awareness and saves you money. Avoid single-use items when possible. Bring a reusable coffee cup if you're a coffee lover, and pack reusable utensils if you plan to buy takeaway food. Energy and water conservation. Be mindful of energy use in your accommodation. Turn off lights, air conditioning, and heating when you leave your room. Many European buildings are older and less energy efficient than what you might be used to at home. Take shorter showers and reuse towels when staying in hotels. Many hotels now have programs that allow you to indicate whether you want fresh towels daily or if you're happy to reuse them. Here are some phrases you can use to show your environmental awareness. I'd like to refill my water bottle. Is the tap water safe to drink? Do you have a recycling bin I can use? I'm happy to reuse my towels to help save water. Is there a bike rental shop nearby? I'd prefer to cycle instead of taking taxis. Learning local languages and cultural customs. Making an effort to learn about local languages and customs shows respect for the cultures you're visiting. Even learning a few basic phrases can make a huge difference in how locals perceive and interact with you. Essential phrases for every European country. While English is widely spoken in many European cities, locals always appreciate when visitors make an effort to use their language. Here are the most important phrases to learn. Basic greetings. Hello/good morning/good evening. Please/thank you/you're welcome. Excuse me/I'm sorry. Goodbye/have a nice day. Essential questions. Do you speak English? Can you help me, please? Where is? How much does this cost? Can I have the bill, please? Polite expressions. I don't understand. Could you speak more slowly, please? I'm learning language. Please be patient with me. Thank you for your patience. Understanding cultural differences. European countries may seem similar to outsiders, but each has its own unique customs and social expectations. Here are some general guidelines. Greeting customs. In some countries like France and Italy, people greet each other with kisses on the cheek, even in business situations. In others like Germany and the UK, handshakes are more common. When in doubt, follow the lead of local people you meet. Dining etiquette. European dining customs can vary significantly from other parts of the world. In many countries, it's considered rude to start eating before everyone at the table has been served. Tipping practices also differ. In some places, service charges are included in the bill, while in others, small tips are expected. Shopping hours. Many European cities have different shopping hours than you might expect. Shops often close for lunch breaks, especially in Southern Europe. Sunday shopping may be limited or unavailable in some countries. Showing cultural curiosity respectfully. Ask questions politely when you're genuinely interested in learning about local customs. I noticed that people do specific behavior. Could you tell me about this tradition? I'm curious about local customs. Is there anything I should know to be more respectful? What's the proper way to specific action in your culture? Avoid making comparisons between the local culture and your home country, especially negative ones. Instead of saying, in my country we do it differently, try, this is interesting. I'm learning so much about your culture. Interacting politely with local people. Positive interactions with local people can be the highlight of your European adventure. Here's how to communicate respectfully and build meaningful connections during your travels. Starting conversations. Be genuine and friendly without being overly familiar. Europeans generally appreciate politeness and respect for personal space. Here are some good conversation starters. Excuse me, I'm visiting your beautiful city. Could you recommend something special I should see? I'm trying to find location. Could you point me in the right direction? I'm curious about this neighborhood. Do you live here? What do you like most about it? Asking for help. Always start with polite expressions before making requests. I'm sorry to bother you, but... Excuse me, would it be possible to... I hope you don't mind me asking, but... Be specific about what you need rather than asking vague questions. Instead of, what should I do here? Try, I'm interested in local history. Are there any museums or historical sites you'd recommend? Instead of, where should I eat? Try, I'd love to try traditional food from this region. Do you know a good local restaurant? Showing appreciation. Thank people genuinely for their help and time. Thank you so much for taking the time to help me. I really appreciate your advice. You've been so kind. Thank you for making me feel welcome in your city. Remember that local people are not tour guides. They're going about their daily lives, and their time is valuable. If someone takes time to help you, show genuine gratitude. Handling language barriers. Stay patient and positive when communication is difficult. I'm sorry, my local language isn't very good. Could you speak slowly, please? Would it be easier if we tried in English? Thank you for being patient with me while I try to learn your language. Use translation apps or phrasebooks when needed, but don't rely on them completely. Making an effort to speak, even imperfectly, shows respect and often leads to warmer interactions. Country-specific do's and don'ts. While Europeans share many cultural similarities, each country has its own specific customs and expectations. Here are some important guidelines for popular European destinations. France. Tu. Greet shopkeepers when entering stores with bonjour. Dress well when visiting restaurants or cultural sites. Learn basic French phrases. Locals appreciate the effort. Wait for the host to begin eating at restaurants. Don't speak loudly in public places. Eat while walking on the street. Expect shops to be open during lunch hours, typically 12 to 2 p.m. Assume everyone speaks English fluently. Germany. Du. Be punctual for any appointments or reservations. Sort your recycling properly. Respect quiet hours, typically after 10 p.m. and on Sundays. Shake hands when meeting people. Don't jaywalk or cross streets when the pedestrian light is red. Make loud phone conversations in public transport. Expect most shops to be open on Sundays. Be surprised if people seem direct in their communication style. Italy. Tu. Dress modestly when visiting churches. Learn proper pasta eating etiquette, no spoon with spaghetti. Greet people warmly. Italians are generally very friendly. Respect the tradition of aperitivo, pre-dinner drinks. Don't order cappuccino after meals. Rush through meals. Dining is a social experience. Wear revealing clothing in religious sites. Expect dinner to be served before 7:30 p.m. Spain. Tu. Adapt to later meal times. Lunch around 2 p.m., dinner after 9 p.m. Learn about siesta culture and respect afternoon quiet hours. Try local tapas culture. sharing small plates with friends. Greet people with kisses on both cheeks if they initiate. Don't expect restaurants to be open at 6 p.m. for dinner. Be surprised if shops close from 2 to 5 p.m. Speak too loudly. Spaniards value conversation but not shouting. Rush social interactions. Relationships are important in Spanish culture. Handling cultural misunderstandings gracefully. Even with the best intentions, cultural misunderstandings can happen during travel. The key is handling these situations with grace, humility, and a willingness to learn. Common misunderstanding situations. Restaurant etiquette mistakes: you might accidentally use the wrong utensils, order inappropriately, or misunderstand tipping customs. When this happens, simply acknowledge your mistake and ask for guidance. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the local custom. Could you help me understand the proper way? I apologize if I did something incorrectly. I'm still learning about your culture. Public behavior missteps: you might speak too loudly, dress inappropriately for a situation, or unknowingly break a social rule. The best response is immediate acknowledgement and correction. I apologize. I didn't realize that wasn't appropriate here. Thank you for letting me know. I'll be more careful. Communication confusion: language barriers can lead to misunderstandings about directions, prices, or social situations. Stay calm and patient. I think there might be a misunderstanding. Could we try explaining this differently? I'm sorry. I think I misunderstood. Could you help me understand correctly? Responding to criticism or correction. Stay humble and grateful when locals correct your behavior. Thank you for telling me. I want to be respectful of your customs. I appreciate you helping me learn the right way to do this. I'm grateful for your patience as I learn about your culture. Avoid defensive responses like, "But in my country we do it this way. I didn't know I had to. Nobody told me that." Instead, focus on learning and improvement. Now I know for next time. Thank you for teaching me. I'm glad you told me. I want to do things properly. Respecting sacred and historical sites. Europe is home to countless churches, temples, historical monuments, and sacred sites. These places require special respect and consideration from visitors. Religious sites. Dress appropriately for churches, mosques, synagogues, and other religious buildings. This typically means covering shoulders and knees, removing hats, and sometimes removing shoes. Observe silence or speak in very quiet voices. Remember that these are places of worship where people come for prayer and reflection, not tourist attractions. Ask before taking photographs, especially during religious services. Many sacred sites prohibit photography entirely or only allow it in certain areas. Follow all posted rules regarding where visitors can and cannot go. Some areas may be restricted to worshippers only. Useful phrases for religious sites. Is it appropriate for visitors to enter during this service? Are there any special rules I should follow while visiting? May I take photographs here, or is it not permitted? Historical monuments and museums. Stay on designated paths and don't touch artifacts or building surfaces unless specifically permitted. Oils from human hands can damage historical materials over time. Turn off flash photography when taking pictures, as bright lights can fade artwork and documents. Keep your voice down and be mindful of other visitors trying to enjoy the experience. Don't bring food or drinks into historical buildings unless specifically allowed. Archaeological sites. Never remove anything from archaeological sites, not even small stones or pottery fragments. These items are protected by law and important for ongoing research. Stay on marked trails to avoid damaging fragile ruins or ongoing excavation work. Respect barriers and restricted areas. These are in place to protect both the site and visitor safety. Building positive long-term relationships. The goal of responsible tourism isn't just to avoid causing problems, it's to create positive connections that benefit both travelers and local communities for years to come. Staying connected. Exchange contact information with local people you meet, if appropriate. Many travelers develop lasting friendships with locals who showed them kindness during their visits. Share your experiences positively on social media and travel reviews. When you highlight responsible local businesses and positive cultural experiences, you help other travelers make good choices too. Recommend your positive experiences to other travelers. Word-of-mouth recommendations from satisfied visitors are incredibly valuable for local businesses. Giving back. Consider volunteering if you're staying in a place for an extended period. Many European cities have volunteer opportunities for visitors, from helping with English conversation practice to participating in environmental cleanup projects. Support local charities or cultural organizations when possible. Even small donations can make a significant difference for community projects. Share your skills if you have expertise that might benefit local people. For example, if you're a teacher, you might offer to help with English language practice. If you're a photographer, you might offer to take professional photos for small local businesses. Planning return visits. Consider returning to places where you had particularly positive experiences. Repeat visitors often develop deeper cultural understanding and stronger relationships with local communities. Stay in the same neighborhoods or with the same hosts when you return. This helps build continuity and shows your appreciation for previous positive experiences. Bring friends and family to places you've enjoyed, and help them be responsible tourists too. Share what you've learned about local customs and responsible travel practices. Conclusion. Becoming a tourist locals will love. Being a responsible tourist in Europe isn't complicated, but it does require thoughtfulness and respect. When you make an effort to understand local cultures, support local businesses, protect the environment, and treat local people with kindness, you become the kind of visitor that communities welcome and appreciate. Remember that travel is a privilege, and with that privilege comes responsibility. Every choice you make as a tourist, where you stay, how you travel, what you eat, how you behave, has an impact on the places and people you encounter. By making conscious, respectful choices, you help ensure that these amazing European destinations remain beautiful, authentic, and welcoming for future generations of travelers. The most rewarding travel experiences often come from meaningful connections with local people and authentic cultural exchanges. When you approach travel with curiosity, respect, and humility, you open doors to experiences that go far beyond typical tourist activities. You become not just a visitor, but a cultural ambassador who builds bridges between communities. Start planning your next European adventure with these principles in mind. Research your destinations thoughtfully, learn a few phrases in the local language, pack with sustainability in mind, and approach each day of travel as an opportunity to learn and contribute positively to the places you visit. Europe's cities, towns, and countryside have so much to offer to travelers who approach them with respect and genuine interest. When you become a responsible tourist, you don't just have a better travel experience, you help create a more sustainable and positive future for tourism in Europe. Vocabulary list. Authentic, real and genuine. Not fake or made for tourists. Carbon footprint. The amount of pollution you create through travel and daily activities. Cultural ambassador. Someone who represents their culture positively in other countries. Etiquette, the rules of polite behavior in social situations. Infrastructure, the basic systems and services that a city needs to function. Mindful, being careful and thoughtful about your actions. Over-tourism, when too many tourists visit a place and cause problems. Peak season, the busiest time for tourism in a destination. Preserve, to protect and keep something safe for the future. Shoulder season, the time just before or after peak tourist season. Sustainable travel tourism that doesn't harm the environment or local communities. Thoughtful, considering other people's feelings and needs. Discussion questions. Have you ever experienced over-tourism as a visitor or as a local person? What was it like? What are 3 things you can do to support local businesses when you travel? Why is it important to learn a few phrases in the local language when visiting other countries? How can tourists show respect when visiting religious or historical sites? What's the difference between being a tourist and being a traveler? Which would you prefer to be? How has tourism changed in your hometown or country? Have the changes been positive or negative? What would you say to a friend who wants to visit 15 European cities in 2 weeks? Describe a time when you experienced a cultural misunderstanding. How did you handle it? What are some ways travelers can reduce their environmental impact? How can tourism benefit local communities? What are the responsibilities of both tourists and local governments?